Imagine a man who lived only 37 years, yet shook the world with his art. A boy who started with a brush in a small Italian town and ended up painting the walls of the grandest palaces. A soul who left an eternal mark on the history of art. His name is Raphael. Let's journey together into the magical world of his life and masterpieces. Fact 1. The child born for Italy's future. In 1483, in the small Italian town of Urbino, renowned not only for its beautiful landscapes, but also for its palaces, libraries, and rich philosophical atmosphere, the future great artistic genius, Raffaello Sanzio da Urbino, was born. At that time, Urbino was a cultural hub, nurturing minds and creativity. Raphael's father, Giovanni Santi, worked as a painter and poet at the Urbino court, and recognized his son's artistic talent from an early age. Under his father's guidance and surrounded by this rich cultural environment, young Raphael's development was profoundly influenced. As he took his first steps into the world of painting, the artistic traditions and wisdom of Urbino became the foundation stones of his creativity. The beauty and subtlety nurtured in this town reflected deeply in his works, marking the beginning of the great art he would present to the world. Fact 2. One of the three great masters of the Renaissance. Raphael was not just an ordinary painter, he is recognized as one of the three greatest masters of the Italian Renaissance. Alongside giants like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, he stood among the legendary artists who rediscovered the art, science, and philosophy of their time, profoundly influencing the world with their works. Raphael was especially distinguished by his delicate and harmonious painting style. In his works, one can sense Leonardo's attentive observation of nature and Michelangelo's powerful forms and emotional expressions. Yet Raphael masterfully combined these two distinct styles to create his own unique, soft, and balanced artistic world. The creativity of these three geniuses gifted humanity with the most magnificent artistic heritage of the Renaissance era. Fact 3. He held a brush for the first time in his father's workshop. Raphael's artistic journey began in his childhood. His father, Giovanni Santi, was both a painter and a poet who worked at the Urbino court. Recognizing his son's talent at an early age, Giovanni brought young Raphael into his workshop, introduced him to paints, and encouraged him to hold his first brush. For little Raffaello, paint was not just a material, it was a way of thinking with colors. He could feel every shade on the palette and sought emotion in every stroke. The years spent by his father's side laid the foundation for his creative abilities. Although he had other teachers later, his first and most important art mentor was his own father. This early beginning allowed Raphael to deeply grasp the subtleties of art and to express them perfectly in his future works. Fact 4. The painter who made the Vatican walls speak. Perhaps the most magnificent mark in Raphael's career is found in the frescoes decorating the walls of the Stanza della Signatura room in the Vatican Palace. Raphael did not merely decorate this room, he brought it to life. Invited by Pope Julius II, he painted the four pillars of human thought on the walls: philosophy, poetry, law, and theology. His most famous fresco, The School of Athens, brings together ancient philosophers like Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Pythagoras, and Heraclitus in a single room, as if uniting different eras. Interestingly, Raphael portrayed Plato with the features of Leonardo da Vinci, and Heraclitus resembling Michelangelo. Some even say Raphael secretly painted himself in the corner of the fresco. These wall paintings were more than just art. They were monuments built with paint, representing human thought, knowledge, and creativity. With his brush, Raphael wrote history on the walls of the Vatican. Fact 5. A heart full of love, yet never married. The delicacy in Raphael's art was not only born from his aesthetic sense, it came from a soul nourished by love. He painted many portraits of women, but one stands out especially: La Fornarina. The title means the baker's daughter, and art historians believe this woman was Raphael's secret and profound love. Thought to be named Margherita Luti, she shared a strong emotional bond with Raphael, though they never officially married. Some claim Raphael was once engaged to a cardinal's daughter, but the marriage never happened because he refused to part with Margherita. Raphael's love life left its mark on the female figures in his artworks. Their eyes hold a depth, a closeness, perhaps a reflection of his beloved. He welcomed love deeply into his life but remained a free spirit. For him, art and emotions formed a bond stronger than marriage. Fact 6. The artist who laid down the brush and drew architectural lines, Raphael was not only a painter, but also a skilled architect who made his mark in history. He was one of the rare artists who could express his aesthetic vision not only on canvas, but also in stone. Recognizing his versatile talent, Pope Julius II and later Pope Leo X entrusted him with important architectural projects. Raphael led various architectural works at the famous Vatican Palace and St. Peter's Basilica. His designs were more than magnificent buildings. They were expressions of the Renaissance spirit through architecture. The balance, symmetry, and delicacy he created elevated Renaissance architecture to its peak beauty. Many know him solely as a painter, but Raphael's imagination also breathed life inside stone walls. This time, the worlds he painted with a brush transformed into building plans. His buildings rose like music under his hand, while his paintings continued to speak from the walls. Fact 7. The portrait master who made souls speak through colors. Raphael not only adorned walls but also immortalized his name in art history with the delicate and refined works he created in the portrait genre. His portraits went beyond mere outward beauty. Raphael's brush revealed the human soul, inner emotions, and thoughts. His female portraits were especially captivating. In his famous work, La Fornarina, he painted the baker's daughter, capturing love, tenderness, and mysterious gazes within the painting. Some art historians even claim that this woman was Raphael's secret lover. The details in his portraits, the soft color transitions, natural poses, and depth in the eyes made him the most sought-after portrait painter of his time. He understood that behind every line on a person's face lay a story, and he skillfully let his brush tell those stories. Raphael's portraits were not just artworks. They were silent images of an era, a spirit, and a breath. Fact 8. The brush that speaks with harmony. When looking at Raphael's works, one feels as if they are hearing music, because his painting style is a melody written with colors. He was a master in seeking harmony, softness, and perfect balance in art. His compositions are regarded as the calmest and most delicate expressions of beauty. Raphael saw symmetry not just as a mathematical rule, but as a spiritual stability. He placed every figure, every gaze, and every shade of color so precisely that nothing appeared excessive or incomplete. His paintings seemed to breathe, speaking their own language to the viewer. The figures in his works are connected with a calm and profound relationship. There is no chaos, no rush. Even in crowded scenes, the eyes are directed toward a single point, and every line harmonizes with another. Raphael's artistic language was an order built within silence. His brush did not control colors, it linked them together, building invisible bridges between feeling and harmony. Fact 9. A short life, an eternal legacy. Raphael died at the young age of just 37, at the very height of his creative power. Some say that if he had lived longer, the history of art might have taken an entirely different path. Yet in that short life, he managed to create the work of several lifetimes. Within those few years, he produced thousands of paintings, frescoes, portraits, and sketches. It was as if he were racing against time, his soul constantly speaking, striving to leave a mark, to share his emotions with the world. Every brushstroke carried a lifetime, every shadow held a breath. His death caused a deep shock in Rome. The papal court, artists, aristocrats, everyone was affected by the loss. Raphael was so beloved that he was buried in the Pantheon, one of Rome's most sacred places, an honor granted to only a rare few. His life proves that greatness is not measured by how long one lives, but by how deeply and meaningfully one lives. Raphael's time on earth was brief, but his legacy will live on forever. Fact 10. A brush that kept painting after death. When Raphael left this world, his brush did not fall. Instead, his art soared even higher. After his death, especially in the 17th century, Raphael became a model, a symbol, and a school of thought for generations of artists. His harmonious compositions, soft lines, and emotional depth helped shape the core direction of European art. Even the pioneers of the Baroque and classical styles drew inspiration from Raphael's simplicity, his structured beauty, and the elegance of his brushwork. Centuries later, artists were still studying his paintings, copying them, and walking in the footsteps of this great master. His name was etched into history not merely as an artist of the past, but as a symbol of the very soul of art itself. Raphael's influence extended beyond painting. His philosophy of art, his aesthetic sensitivity, and his human-centered vision reshaped how Europe thought about beauty and creativity. He died, but his brush kept painting through time. Raphael, a genius who reached eternal artistic greatness in a short lifetime. He spoke through colors, breathed life into walls, and with every brushstroke, revealed the deepest emotions of the human soul. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your fellow art lovers. In upcoming videos, we'll travel back in time through the world of art history. Join us on this journey